a lot of stuff. There's poop, there's boobs, there's poop and boobs.
At a movie, Neal and Annabelle's dinner at a movie, Neal and Annabelle's dinner at a movie. Good food, good drinks, good friends, and good times. Good food, good drinks, good friends, and good times.
Hey, it's Nasty Neal.
This is Annabelle Lecter.
This is dinner.
And a movie, minus the dinner.
Minus the dinner, yes.
More about we've got 2 movies though, so that's something.
I have some fruit jerky in my pocket.
Oh, I had the fruit jerky you gave me. It was very, very good.
They are very good. Yeah.
Delicious. So that'll be the dinner. I don't have a fruit jerky now.
Yeah.
Dinner and Neal's dinner. Dinner.
Yeah, I don't want to eat in front of you. That seems rude.
It would be rude.
It would be. But we're here to talk. It would be weird to eat dinner while we're talking about this movie anyway. Shakespeare Shitstorm.
New Troma film.
It is. And Lloyd yelled at me. He said, "You're supposed to call it hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm."
Really?
Which is hard for me to say. I don't know.
Hashtag Shakespeare. This is like a tongue twister thing. So maybe he just is amused by that. And that's why he's all about it. He seems to be someone who gets amusement from subtle little jokes in his mind that mess with people, which I'm not criticizing. I think that's pretty great. You gotta amuse yourself. So
right.
And I think there's some of that in Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of that. And it was What do you think?
Well, real quick, here's the IMDb. In a crude parody of William Shakespeare's The Tempest, Prospero lures a boatload of pharmaceutical executives to Tromaville, New Jersey.
A boatload indeed.
And
what a time they have on that boat. Something unique. I almost said special, but unique is special implies something that might be good.
Like most Troma films, you have it actually is saying a lot of stuff, but it's hidden under a lot of poop jokes.
A lot. And a lot of things, a lot of stuff. There's poop, there's boobs, there's poop and boobs, weird violence. There's some really cool monsters at the
end. Are.
So there's a lot of like normal Troma stuff that people who like Troma stuff in general, I think would quite enjoy. The opening though is just crazy. Like there is a boat scene and there's the executives on it. And then there's the 2 social justice people. Yeah. I don't know. How did you feel when you started in the whole thing? Oh, I wrote in a note like Safe Spacia, that there is this app called Safe Spacia.
Yeah.
The commercial for it. So there's like this whole joke throughout the film about this social justice warrior and safe spaces and all those kinds of things. And at first I was a little like, I don't know, that's kind of unnecessary. But as I watched it, I felt like this is a pretty good critique, to be honest.
Oh, I think it is actually. My first time watching it, though, I felt the same way, because it's kind of like, I would say attacking. I wouldn't say it's attacking, but it's questioning or parodying or talking about maybe what I would call my side of the political world. And so it's like, whoa, is this like against like my views? But no, I think a lot of it is stuff that's, is warranted. And the only thing I think about all that, though, it's mostly talking about that. I don't think there's too much questioning the other side.
Well, I don't know, because it depends on what do you consider the other side. Because if you think about the idea of like drug industries and executive level stuff and all that kind of stuff, so I think it's just one of those underlying things. I don't want to like scare people away from the review right away. I'll mention that in the beginning, because I think this is stuff that I would like to get into. But the idea of that there's this boat and there's killer whales that the social justice people see. And they're like, oh, the whales. And then one of the whales flies up over the boat, and you see a lower blowhole open and eject like projectile diarrhea over the people. And that happens a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah,
like
there's a
I was
lot
like,
of-
I don't know if I want to keep watching this because I like some funny, like gross humor, but I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
It is a weird combination because I guess you could say about a lot of the Troma movies though, but I don't know. Maybe it does appeal to both people, but it's I don't know if people who are into the really like the gross humor want like any political or social commentary, and maybe someone wants political or social commentary. Do they really don't want to see like a poop joke movie?
I mean,
So I do think it's a hard thing to balance, because you don't want to make something where you're just preaching to people and hit people over the head with messages and stuff. You still want to make something that people can just watch and enjoy.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I think that's a really good point. I think that there's some people that they're going to not be willing to sit through one half of what you're talking about. There's either you're going to be repulsed by one or the other. But especially because you mentioned it's not attacking, but it's kind of like putting a little scrutiny, a little criticism of that. And I think the thing is that it's not just about the more liberal side that's criticizing. I think it's specifically criticizing the like a certain segment of that is very
Like an extreme side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the intense of the intense. And it's funny because the two people, they're both white, and at some point in the movie they encounter a black person, and they're like scared of them, yet like speaking for them and saying, oh, how can
I think
you
that's one of the
I
think that's one of the smartest scenes in the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I mean, it's pretty good. And I'm not extreme. Like I believe in a lot of those concepts, but the way some of them are presented it's a real turnoff sometimes to hear the way people will present their passions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this movie really captures that. So
yeah, and that scene you're talking about, it's we just had her on the show, Monique Dupree, who plays Caliban.
mm-hmm.
And I think it's so great because they come from a place where like they do mean well, they're trying to do the right thing, and but they're actually telling an actual black person what's racist or not, which
mm-hmm.
it's it's right there in front of you. It's very funny to think about.
Mm-hmm. That character is great.
Yeah, I thought she had a great performance in the movie.
Yeah, she's fantastic. There was I really thought the acting was pretty good all around, to be honest. And I enjoyed characters. I think that's something too. I found a lot of the characters were very enjoyable. I liked
the one in the wheelchair is very funny.
She's amazing. And when I saw her, I thought of
Amanda Flowers.
Baby, the one with Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, Crybaby.
Crybaby, thank you.
Yeah.
And there's a gang member in that. And I thought, this person could still play this role. But she's amazing. She was a really cool character. She's in a wheelchair, and she's got like one of those throat things, so a person who can't speak can speak. I don't, what do they call that? You know what I'm talking about. People know what I'm talking about.
Like Ned and Ned in South Park.
So freaking funny, and cursed to be in her wheelchair. And one of the many of Lloyd Kaufman's characters. Well, I guess he really only plays two, huh? He plays
the brother and sister.
Prospero and his own sister.
Yeah.
But they're pretty great. Yeah, he has power over this wheelchair bound woman, that if he's like a chemist. Mm-hmm. He's like this genius chemist, and once upon a time he was this idealist and was going to change the world, and the drugs that he had would cure all kinds of amazing things. And then the evil executive steps in and kind of like brings the sister in on the evil schemery to make loads of money and the hell with people.
There's a lot of
So-
funny jokes even just at the beginning there about like the idea that like the scientists would have like groupies, and he was talking about like, you know, you're getting all these blowjobs if you like make a drug that fights diarrhea, and it was very just absurd but
Right.
very funny stuff. But then there was
Yeah.
like some real stuff in there too, because it was like at the same time, like we don't want something that actually cures things because we want to, you know, keep selling the drugs. And
Yeah. Oh, I think they brought up like there was a lot of stuff about heroin in there, and the idea of being able to cure some of the stuff, and yet like methadone clinics will keep people going, which is better than the alternative. But there's just like a lot of criticism of a lot of things, and it was, I think you said, you know, use the word smart. I think for a Troma film, it was done in a really smart way. It's not so much like, oh my god, it comes to mind. So this scientist Prospero, his science experiments are all these animals and like cages in the background, and they all have some kind of genitalia,
like ass ham and stuff.
yeah. And there's like a chicken, which is just like a raw chicken with a giant erect penis.
Yeah.
It's not even coming out of where a penis would be on it, and anatomically it's coming out of like where something's like belly would be. It's just
Yeah.
oh my god, it's so funny. It doesn't
Which
have a
is
head.
it's both funny and I've seen the pictures where they're like growing the ears on like pigs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it actually has some basis in reality, even though it's completely, you know, stupid.
Yeah, Sam. They had some like vag face animal, and oh, some of the stuff, when I won't give away like the big reveal.
There's a lot of gags that are in the background because I've seen it a couple times. I saw it for a festival, and I saw it for this in the interview. And there's a lot of stuff just in the background that's a lot of cool gags. So it's something, you know, not just what's in front of you. You can look around here. There's a lot of layers to the movie.
How at the end there's like this big reveal of the Prospero character, and there's some stuff that is so button pushing.
Mm-hmm.
If you were like a social justice, and I say that like as really a stereotype of social justice warrior being kind of like a pejorative word, and I don't know how I could watch it, to be honest. I don't know how someone with that far over to that side would be able to enjoy this movie unless they could really look at themselves and laugh and say,
In a way, I think that's actually it was jarring in a way to see that. I think you know what I mean? And then it's also like that's the way things should be. You should be able to talk about, you know, really anything you want to talk about. And I think it's good to sometimes look at yourself and your own, and like maybe what I'm saying is that, you know, isn't the best way of putting things out there. And I'm going to be honest. I've seen people say that the movie is alt-right and that Lloyd's alt-right. I think that's like insane.
That's crazy.
That's for anyone who that knows Lloyd at all or has followed him or anything. But I do think that's a big problem today in general, is any type of criticism is considered like all the way, you know, you're a Nazi, you're alt-right, and you can criticize your own side. Because you want to make things better.
Yeah. And it's funny because just what you're saying is exactly what this movie is riffing on, is that you have to be able to take a critical look at what's going on in yourself, or things don't change in the world unless people are willing to look at themselves, or everybody's just going to stay the same forever. So if you're not willing to look and be like, oh, well, this might be, but yeah, like you were saying about this whole alt-right thing, I just like, how? And I think it was really, part of the movie was really interesting because Lloyd's the Prospero character had an incident in the movie where he was trying to do something very good, but some of the things he said, there was like a press conference, and some of the things he said came off as offensive. So instead of the crowd being like, he didn't know any better, and so we're going to cut him some slack because he didn't know any better, and now he can learn and change, right? They're just like, the hell with this guy. They're all booing him and stuff like that.
And they overlook what the good stuff he was wanting to do, and they focus on this one, you know, misstep, and that's, you know, and then that nullifies all the good that the person is doing.
Yeah. And it's like, sometimes, it's the difference between someone makes like a faux pas of something they say or even something they do. If you can, I think you can tell if someone is genuinely awful or if they have good intentions. And I think if you don't cut some slack to the people with good intentions, then what are you left with? Yourselves. I mean, I guess you could be in your own little world for eternity. Okay. But I don't know. This seems like a really lame place to be, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I'm someone that tries to get along. Like, it doesn't always come across that way because I get very passionate about people being shitty. But I try to get along with people, and that's part of getting along with people and getting other people to see things from another perspective is being friendly and being like, okay, this is why they're doing this, and trying to understand where are they coming from. And I just think if you're not willing to do that a little bit, like, good luck. Just
There's a few things there. I think intent is a big thing. When someone says something, are they intending to be hateful? Are they saying it in jest? Also, not everyone comes from the same background you do, so they haven't had the same experiences, or they come from another generation. So you have to. I'm not saying everything they say is great or something, but you still have to have some leeway and understand where this person is in life and what their background is. And also think there's something to be said, not so much in this movie, but just in general, is the idea of if someone does say something bad or does something bad, the idea of forgiveness. Like, are they stricken from society forever? They can never do anything again? Or is it like, well, they did this bad thing, they've been around for a while, but we've gotten over it and they can be accepted.
Yeah. And I want to get to that, but I want to just jump in real quick to say this isn't just for the side of social justice people critique. It's like all around, if people are going to be on one side condemning well-intentioned people who are trying to introduce certain like elements. So I was at a protest, and I was having a conversation with someone who I didn't have the same beliefs as, trying to like get information of like, why do you feel this way? Why is this situation problematic for you? And one of the things someone said was because they have a kid in school. I was in a place that was a little more conservative area, and they had a kid in school who was given a word search that was like this kind of like I don't want to say the word social justice, is another way for me to put it, but I can't think of it. So please don't hate me because I can't think of the word. But it was all word search it might have been like a Black Lives Matter word search. And so this guy, on the one hand, there's this guy who's really mad about this. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, but you gotta, like, this isn't a bad, like, this isn't trying to, in my opinion, trying to shove an ideology onto your kid. This is like putting it out there like Black people are okay.
Right.
Like, you're in a conservative area where basically everyone is white and they grew up here and they're going to die here. And maybe you feel like it's not important for them to give a shit, but is it really that harmful to consider that not white people have value and to try to, like, I don't get what the threat is. And then the other side, I know the people doing the creating this word search, many of them are, I know this is real. Many of them are kind of like, well, fuck those white people. We're going to do this. Like, that's just true. So I don't know. Like, this person on the one hand has like kind of a point, like, I should be able to raise my kid in the way I want. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be hateful. They're just, it's like both these sides. There's so much of this hate because they feel like the other people are trying to tell them what to do instead of thinking about what's actually being said. What's actually being said instead of, oh, well, you can't tell me. Well, you can't tell me. Like, is what's being told something have value, like neutral value? Maybe we should think about that. And I think this movie has a lot of that in it. Like, there are things that are just make sense. Like, drug companies not making a ton of money off of people suffering. I don't know, makes sense. That's pretty basic. That's not something for sides to argue about. It shouldn't be politicized. Like, that's just crazy. And so you were
That
saying
comes up a
about
lot in society, like you said, about not everything should be politicized if it's beneficial for people in general. Why is it? It shouldn't be my side, your side. Don't like you exactly said. Don't tell me to do this.
yeah. So you said something that I went off a little tangent about this, about how do we forgive people that made mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about your thoughts on that, because it's a big like I can in my mind think, well, what does that
Well,
mean?
it
What do you mean
depends.
by
It's just
mistake?
it's like if you commit a crime, it depends on what you did. So, not if you misstep, it shouldn't be all or nothing. It shouldn't be no matter what you did, you're stricken forever. I mean, there's levels of what you did. So if someone found old tweets that you posted that are maybe offensive to somebody, does that mean you should that's the end of you should never nothing, you should be stricken from everything, you should never get a job again? I don't think so. It depends on what it is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think it depends on, well, what is that person all about now? Like, is that person changed, or does that person still have those same shitty, unhelpful opinions? Right. Do they care? Do they not? Are they willing to say, like, I did that and I feel awful about it because I was more stupid then. I was just ignorant. Like, ignorance, when people are ignorant, I don't even think that's really an insult. I feel like ignorant means
People
know.
take it that way, but the actual definition isn't.
Yeah, you just don't know. Ignorant is, you don't know any better. So, and maybe someone should know better, but like you were saying earlier about like the context of what's the background for this person? Are they in a world that's sort of isolated? Like this guy who's talking about we should be able to raise our kids this way. Well, those kids, if they were left to these devices, would grow up in a world where, calling someone XYZ thing doesn't mean anything to them because they're not harming anyone in their eyes. They're just, this is their little bubble and all of this is fine. But when that little bubble gets exposed to other people, they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they're like, we're in our bubble. Leave us. So if someone comes out of this bubble and is like, oh, I said really shitty things once upon a time, now I'm going to like be out here in the world and these people are looking back at that crap. That's not fair. It's not fair. It's really not. I don't think it's fair. But is this person willing to say, yeah, that was shitty of me and I feel really bad and now I'm not that same person. Like I've grown. Like people do that. People get older, they learn, they grow. Like what would be the point of any of these people changing? Or do you just not want them to change? Like you just want to be like, just make someone bad. You just need a villain. That's fucked.
I will say, back to the poof stuff, for me, that's probably the stuff that doesn't work the most in the movie. For me personally, it's not really my kind of thing, but I do know that a lot of the Troma people are going to be all about that.
And I think it in a way works because of the cure for diarrhea. And it's like, I had the cure for diarrhea. And guess what? This is the anti-cure for diarrhea, where I'm going to have the largest
It'll probably be
mammal
too,
on the
if
planet.
there's none of that kind of stuff at all, it's going to be too much of a movie just about, more of a political movie, which, that's not what everyone wants to see from a Troma film.
I wonder if it would rope people in though. So like if you're in it for all the poop, gore, and boobs,
right?
And you see that in the beginning,
I think
you're gonna
that's
be like,
core.
Yes.
That's the core of Troma films, though. I think it is. So you lure them in with this stuff. Same thing with South Park, and then you put this stuff underneath to try to reach somebody.
Oh, the swordfish captain death. I did like that. The swordfish like just impales them.
I like that there's so many people in the movie. You don't really see that in movies very often anymore, where it's like it's actually a giant cast of people. Like all these people got together, and I actually asked Lloyd about this in the interview, and he said it's really about the fans of Troma. He can put it out there like we're going to do this, and people are going to come out and support it. But it is fun to watch in a movie. It just seems like something you don't see anymore.
I did put in my note. So in the very beginning, when I was like, I don't know about this movie, I wrote useless partying, whale shit everywhere. This has zero value, but at least it lives up to its name. That was my beginning. And then
Right.
I really did. It really did grow on me. And even talking about it, I think is pretty great. I don't know. I would love to know who it does appeal to, because I want you to find me on Facebook and friend me.
Yeah, I'll be honest, when I talked to Lloyd, said that the name was made it difficult to get it into festivals. It only played one main one. I personally don't think that's really true. I think it's a hard movie to get the festivals, because the festivals are going to mostly be people like more artsy movies.
Fancy? Yes.
And also I think they're going to be a lot of people who see a lot of the stuff that it's questioning, and they're going to be against it. I think they feared that
watch
we're not gonna want to show at our festival.
People are.
I wish more people took a chance on it though and did it. I'm going.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think so. No, I was just saying that some people don't want to see shit and tits, and that's like a bulk of the film. And there is a lot of reference to drug use. Like there's some pretty bold stuff. Like the whole thing, honestly, is about drug use. Is people constantly using drugs through the whole thing in a number of different ways. And I mean, I think if you're know about that world and the life, and I think it could be really difficult to watch. I think it could be very difficult to watch for some people.
But I'm really proud of Monique. We brought up before in her interview. I hope people check it out. And she talked a lot about because the movie, that role was actually written for a man. And
yes.
And so she took it, and she was very honest about her career, and people have told her like she some stuff like she's not the right shade, she's not black enough, she's too, all these crazy things. And she said there's people that have called her a man throughout her life and her career. So
she seems like a complete badass. Her scenes were great because she was always like misunderstood in I think every single scene, whether she was doing good, she was pretty much a good guy kind of person.
I really think she's almost like she's like the hero of the movie. I think kind of a straight person in the movie, like, you know what I mean, like she has some funny stuff, but for the most part she's pretty much a straight character.
But she was great. I think the blind daughter, was it Miranda, I think, was amazing. I thought she was very funny. I really liked her. And I wouldn't always like that kind of role, but she was a wonderful actress. Her facial expressions, she's a great actress. She's great.
And there was some very funny scenes.
Yes, there were. She was fantastic. She really was. I didn't look at her IMDb, but I would watch her in other things. She is a great comedic presence. So, yep, she was cool. I'm trying to think of any in particular things that don't like give away critical parts of the film, but no, she was great.
Like, I mean, the ending is really well done, and it makes you think about a lot of things. And so I don't want to give it away, but
I did put in a line that made me laugh. So, there's all this stuff about race and all these things. And at some point someone says, do Jews count as white people?
Yeah, I show that
most of the time.
Yeah.
I just thought that was fucking hilarious.
That got Whoopi in trouble recently. So careful. Yep. And
cancel culture. I think that does need to get backed up. You were talking about people making mistakes. I don't know if that's a mistake. I mean, she's been around, and right. We're talking about age, but this is not like some person that's been tied down.
I mean, and she said that right now. The so as far as the cancel culture thing, I have a couple different views on that. One thing, it's like if someone actually does something bad, like people say it's your right to say your right, freedom of speech. So of course people can actually, they're not getting arrested, but whoever, if you're on TV, they also have the right, like, we don't want you on this show anymore or this movie anymore. So you have the right to say what you want, but people also have the right to react to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I was at my job and I just started spouting off nonsense, they'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Like there's things you can't do. You just can't. And I think most of the jobs I've worked in, well, maybe half, in your paperwork you have to sign off on, they tell you if you are outside of the company and you somehow misrepresent them, then you can get fired. And that's a real thing, because when you are in the public eye and people are aware you are working for this company, then you're there by association. And so if that company is like, well, it's not a big deal, then that affects them, and that could as a business that can impact that business. And as a business model, you got to be like, it's not worth it to scar ourselves for life and beyond, because most of these companies are going to want to be like, some of the big movie companies have been around for 100 years. So what's the better decision for them? Dump an actor, or the actor and curse themselves? And then have probably some people who are actors not want to act for them and find other place to go, like the whole Spotify thing. Like, not like a lot of people jump ship on Spotify over the whole Joe Rogan thing, but it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So
I picked a good time to get dinner and a movie on Spotify.
Why?
It was like right before the Joe Rogan stuff happened.
Oh, well.
It was just very funny. I thought we got the and then it was like everyone's like leaving it. Not everyone, but there's people leaving.
Some people. Yeah.
I noticed that Shakespeare Shitstorm was produced by Bad Dragon. And I'm wondering if that is, we talked about it on Without Your Head After Hours. That is the company that makes the monster dildos.
Stop
and
it.
if so, will we? I wonder if we'll ever see some Troma line.
That's gross to think about.
The
But there's gross ones anyways. Well, I'm thinking of the monster ones is one thing. I'm thinking of the Monster Fleshlight series, I think.
Right.
With all the like dildos of rotten zombie penises and crazy shit. Oh, I wonder if those are still around. That was pretty funny stuff.
It was, yeah. I think
I highly recommend people go out there and look up Fleshlight. I think you can just go Monster, Google that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, Monster. Yeah, but yeah, maybe I don't know, Toxie.
Who made that? Your little Toxie guy.
I'm not sure who painted that actually, but I was a Christmas present years ago from a Hyena gallery out in Burbank, California.
Oh, no kidding.
Actually, might say
well, it's very cute.
HIK Caesar. It's very cool though. I like it.
I did notice that there was a song in Shakespeare's Shitstorm. It was like a musical number. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what? I could have probably tolerated a few more of these songs. And it would be I agree. Like it would have been like a new Rocky Horror. Like I could really see this being a midnight movie. So,
I remember Poultrygeist. I really liked the music in it. I'm a fan of musicals anyway, honestly, but especially like comedic ones. Yes. And I think Lloyd's very funny singing, and if I agree, I would have liked a couple more.
Yeah. Didn't have to be the whole thing. And if they weren't funny, then just leave them out. But
yeah,
I thought it was pretty good.
And there's a lot of mix of things. You know, you have live action movies. There's some animated scenes that were fun.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a very visual movie.
It is. It's good. It's, you know what? It's worth, no matter what your opinion is and no matter what you think of all the things we've just been saying, really, I really think it's worth watching.
Yeah.
And get past the whale shit. Because I did. And I was glad I did. I really almost stopped watching. Like, I don't want to watch an entire film of whale shit in people's mouths. Like, if this is the direction of the content of this film, like, even though I knew it wouldn't be that the whole time, but if this is the bar,
right?
But it all got.
Yeah, I was if we got together to film this, I was just we go like get some chili somewhere to review it. Chocolate pudding.
So what do you give this for?
It's a weird thing to rate.
I kind of wish I'd seen it again, because I feel like I could give a more accurate review, like a more accurate rating.
A lot of stuff I like in it. I don't know, it's not something I would watch all the time, obviously, but
Did we decide we can do halves now? I
Yeah.
feel like halves are good.
All right, so I'm gonna go 3.5.
Same. 3.5. It's not something I would watch it again to catch stuff like you said,
Yeah,
but it's not something I need on my shelf.
right.
Um,
Like there's a little thing for Caliban, Monique's character. The bathroom behind her says Caliban only. It's a
That's
Caliban only bathroom. There's a lot of little things like that. Bill Wheaton's in the movie.
I noticed him.
Yeah.
I saw him. I didn't realize he was in there. So that was pretty cool. Him being one of like the drugging it up partiers.
Dylan Mars Greenberg, the trans woman in the movie. Very good
Oh,
job.
really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So
I
yeah.
don't know who else was in it. But yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would after the beginning. So I think that really helps. But no, the beginning there is funny stuff in it. And yeah, so I do recommend it. 3.5 doesn't sound like a lot, I guess, but no, I think it's good.
So this was a dinner.
And a movie.
All right. And we just talked about Shakespeare Shitstorm, or hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, as Lloyd Kaufman told us to say. And it's playing this month in New York, I believe. And I don't know where it's going from there. So keep an eye out on Troma. And I do think it would be really cool actually to see. I haven't seen it on the big screen with people. I do think that would probably be a fun experience.
Probably would be really, really fun. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. So, all right. It was
So
great.
rate,
Great doing
comment, subscribe here, give us a thumbs up, share it out, write some comments, nice ones, as Annabelle likes to put. Be nice to them. And stay tuned because we're
Neal and Annabelle's dinner